I was 22, living in a small town and 4 months pregnant. The father, let's call him Ben, had disappeared the moment he found out about the pregnancy. He stopped picking my calls or answering my messages. To make everything worse, my mother was sick, always coughing, and we couldn't afford a proper doctor. I had a job working for a woman in a wholesale shop. It was hard work, sometimes lifting heavy boxes, but it put food on the table. Then one day, I started bleeding, and when I went to the hospital, the doctor was clear. No more heavy lifting. You need to rest for the sake of the baby. When I told my boss, her face just closed off. She was sorry, she said, but she ran a business. She needed someone who could do the work. I was let go on the spot. I walked home that day, feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders. It wasn't just my job I had lost. It was our lifeline. The next few months were a special kind of hell. I tried everything in our small town. I went to every shop, every little restaurant, anyone who might need help. But as soon as they saw the bump, it was over. I was turned down again and again. I felt like I was drowning. Then one afternoon, a friend came to visit me. I was just sitting and staring at nothing. When I told her I had been looking for a job, but to no avail, she told me about this woman. Let's call her Mami Esi. She says she's in Accra. She finds jobs for women as house helps. Here, she said, take her number. At least try her out. Call her. It is a chance. That was how it started. This was the beginning of the darkest period of my life. So I called the number. Mami Esi answered on the third ring. She told me to come and see her that weekend at a specific spot in a town closer than Accra. My heart was pounding when I hung up. I called my friend, and her advice was immediate and practical. You have to lie, she said. Don't tell her you are pregnant too. Wear something big and loose. Once you get a job and you've worked for a while, when the belly starts to show, you can explain. They will say you are a good worker and have mercy. The plan felt wrong, but desperation makes you do things you are not proud of. So on Saturday, I put on the loosest dress I owned. I prayed the entire journey day. When I got to a place, she looked me up and down, and for a terrifying second, I thought she could see right through the fabric of my dress. But she just nodded and got down to business. She had 2 positions. Both were in Accra, in big houses, a room of my own, 800 cedis a month plus food. My mind raced. 800 cedis. It was more than I had ever made. I could send money home, buy my mother proper medicine, save a little for the baby. But there was a catch, of course. For the first 3 months, I would have to send her 40% of my salary as a fee. This was too much, but what choice did I have? I said yes immediately. I will take it. Either one. Thank you. Then she dropped the bombshell. Good, she said. Now, before anything, you have to go to the clinic. A medical test. We need to show them you are healthy. No catchy disease, no nothing. And most importantly, she said, looking directly at me, a pregnancy test. They will not accept a pregnant girl. My blood ran cold. I couldn't fake a medical certificate. I stood there, my mouth dry, and decided honesty was my only path. Maybe she would understand. I am pregnant, I whispered. The change in her was instant. Hey, why did you waste my time? Nobody, and I mean nobody, in Accra wants a pregnant house help. You will go and have problems in their house. It is not possible. I left her completely dejected. The hope I had just evaporated, leaving me emptier than before. For 3 weeks, I was just there, no job. I heard nothing. I went back to the crashing reality of my life. Then, out of the blue, my phone rang. It was Mami Esi. Her tone was completely different. Sweet. My dear, good news. I have found something for you. A very nice woman. She is okay with your situation. I couldn't believe it. I held my breath. The pay is even better, she continued. 1,200 cedis a month. Free food, free accommodation. She understands you cannot do heavy work. She wants to help you. 1,200 cedis. The number was so shocking, I had to ask her to repeat it. It seemed like a miracle. I was over 5 months pregnant by then. And this felt like an absolute lifeline sent by God Himself. I was so shocked and happy all at once. I told my mother immediately. I expected her to share my joy, but her face just clouded with worry. Why? She asked. Why would someone in Accra want a pregnant helper? It doesn't make sense. Stay here. God will provide. But I wasn't listening. To me, a fear was just the caution of an old woman who didn't understand how the world worked anymore. Ma, don't worry, I said, brushing off her concerns. This is my chance. Things will work out. I should have listened to her. I should have trusted the fear in her eyes because I didn't know it then. But I wasn't working toward a blessing. That too good to be true of her was exactly that. And I was about to learn that lesson the hardest way possible. The day I would finally meet my boss was coming. I packed my small bag with my few belongings. Saying goodbye to my mother was the hardest part. She was being left in the care of her sister, but the worry in her eyes was a physical weight on my chest. She held my face in her hands and said, "Be careful. If something feels wrong, you come home right away, okay? Promise me." I promised. But my mind was already in Accra, already counting the 1,200 cities I would send back to her. A few days later, I was back in Mamiesi's place. This time, the woman I would work for was there too. Let's call her Ma Dinah. She was in her 50s. The first thing she did was smile, and the second thing she did was hug me. I was taken aback. This wasn't the formal distance greeting I expected from a madam. Her hug was tight. "Ah, finally," she said, her voice warm. "We are going to be so happy together. I can feel it." She talked about her house, how I would have my own space, how she was looking for not just a helper, but company. But my mother's question echoed in my head. Why would someone want a pregnant woman? I wanted to know too. I knew I would regret it if I didn't ask. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Ma Dinah," I started, my voice hesitant. "Thank you for this opportunity. But can I ask, why me? Why are you okay with my situation when no one else is?" The smile on her face didn't vanish, but it froze. "My dear, pregnant women are gentle. They are trustworthy. Their minds are on building a life, not on trouble." She stepped closer. "And when Mamiesi told me about your struggles, my heart went out to you. You are carrying precious cargo. You don't need to suffer." Then she did something that made my skin prickle. She walked right up to me and placed her hand on my stomach, just like that. I flinched, but she didn't remove her hand. Instead, she held my shoulder with her other hand and looked deep into my eyes. Her smile was wide, but it didn't reach her eyes. It was an odd, stretched smile. "Don't worry," she said. "I will take care of both of you." There was something strange about her eyes. The way they kept leaving my face to stare at my stomach. Something felt deeply wrong. My spirit, as my mother would say, was not at rest. It was screaming at me to run. But I told myself I was being silly. It was the hormones. It was the anxiety of leaving home for the first time. I was inventing problems where there were none. As we prepared to leave, I bent down to pick up my small travel bag from the floor. Her reaction was swift. "No," she said, her voice suddenly sharp, then softening. "Don't stress yourself. Let me." Before I could protest, she had scooped up my bag and carried it to her car. Hey, what was going on? I was supposed to be the one helping her. She even hurried ahead to open the passenger door for me, like I was a VIP guest. As we drove away, I sat in silence. The car smelled new and clean. It was all so comfortable, so much better than anything I had ever known. But a cold knot of dread was tightening in my stomach. I asked myself the question over and over again. Had I made the right decision? The truth was, I didn't know what I was walking into. And the worst part, the signs were already there, clear as day. I just didn't want to see them. Welcome back, babe. How are you doing today? I hope you are having an amazing day. If you are new here, I'm Vera, but you can call me V. and I share real life stories that will shock you, amaze you, inspire you, and sometimes make you laugh. So if this is something you love, please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Today's shoutout goes to Kessie29, Priscilla Prakuma AJ7867, and Miss Didi9. They were the first people to comment on my last video. Thank you so much for the support, babes. And you know I love you. And now without any further delay, let's continue the story. We finally pulled up to a beautiful 3-bedroom house in Tema, surrounded by a high fence. But the real shock came when she showed me my room. Hey, my heart started beating so fast, I thought it would leap out of my chest. This wasn't a small room for a house help. This was a guest room, a big guest room. There was a huge king-sized bed with a clean floral bed sheet, a dressing table, and I could hardly believe it. An air conditioner unit humming quietly on the wall. I was stunned into silence. I just stood there. Go on, rest, Ma Dinah said, a voice dripping with kindness. The journey was long. You must be tired. I will come and ask you what you want to eat. Ah, what was wrong with this woman? I finally found my voice. Ma, thank you, but I am okay. I don't need to rest. I am here to work. Please, what should I do? I can clean. I can cook. She waved a dismissive hand, a smile never fading. No, no, no. Rest today. Tomorrow you start. You need to take care of the baby. And then she reached out and touched my stomach. Her hand rested there for a moment too long. I will cook you rice and stew. You just rest. I will call you when it is ready. She smiled widely again and left, closing the door softly behind her. I just stood there, my mouth hanging open in complete shock. What was happening? I was the house help, not a visiting relative. This wasn't normal. This wasn't right. As soon as I heard her move away, I pulled out my phone and called my mother. I told her I had arrived safely. And then, in a hushed voice, I told her about the king-sized bed, the AC, and the madam insisting I rest while she cooked for me. The line was silent for a moment. Then my mother's voice came through, weak but sharp with fear. My daughter, listen to me. Something is not right. No one is this nice for no reason. Come home right now. Leave that place. Come home. I could hear the desperation in her voice, but looking around the beautiful, cool room, feeling the comfort I hadn't known in years, my desperation fought back. Ma, this is my chance, I whispered. Sure, she's strange, but maybe she's just a good person, a nice person who feels sorry for me. I was trying to convince myself as much as I was trying to convince her. I told my mother not to worry, that I would be careful, that things would be fine. Oh, how wrong I was. True to her word, Ma Dinah cooked. She served me a large plate of rice and rich meaty stew, sitting with me at the dining table as if I were an honored guest. She chatted easily, asking about my hometown, my likes and dislikes. She talked about herself too. She was married, but her husband lived and worked abroad. They had no children. Sometimes this big house feels so empty, she said, her voice taking on a sad note. It is just me, all alone. It gets lonely. After we ate, she gave me a tour of the house. It was even bigger than I had thought. But as we walked from the kitchen to the living room, a nagging question grew in my mind. She hadn't mentioned a single thing I was actually supposed to do. Gathering my courage, I finally asked, Ma Dinah, thank you for everything. But please, what are my duties? When should I start the cleaning, the washing? Her face changed. The warm smile tightened. And for a flash, she looked almost offended. Didn't I tell you? Don't worry about that. The work here is not plenty. Just relax. I am the boss, right? She patted my arm. When I need you to do something, I will tell you. I just nodded, feeling confused and strangely guilty. Here I was, being paid to essentially live in luxury while my sick mother was far away. It didn't make sense. Later, as I was preparing to go to the strange giant's bed in my room, she came to my doorway. She leaned against the frame. That boy, The one who gave you the pregnancy, she began, a voice gentle. What happened with him? I hesitated. It was a painful story, one I didn't like to tell. But she had been so kind, so generous. So I told her. I told her about Ben, his promises, his disappearance, the way he abandoned us. When I finished, she didn't say a word. Instead, she walked over and pulled me into a tight hug. It was a long hug, the kind a mother gives a hurting child. That foolish boy, she whispered into my ear. He doesn't know what he has lost. But don't you worry. Consider me your big sister now. I have your back. Everything will be okay. In that moment, standing in her embrace, I felt a strong wave of relief. Maybe my mother was wrong. Maybe this wasn't a trap. Maybe God, seeing my suffering, had finally sent a guardian angel to watch over me and my baby. The strange touches, the overly generous treatment, I convinced myself it was just the way of a lonely woman with a kind heart. I told myself it was a blessing, but I didn't know the real horror hadn't even begun. A month slipped by in that house. The work I had been hired to do never materialized. The most I did was wash a few dishes. On the rare occasions my Dinah went out. Instead, she was taking care of me. It was a constant smothering kind of care. She monitored my meals, insisting I eat more, pushing extra portions of protein on my plate. You are eating for two, she would say, her eyes fixed on my growing belly. When it was time for my prenatal checkup, she didn't just take me. She drove me to an expensive private hospital in Accra, a place I could never have afforded. She handled the paperwork, paid for everything. She spoke to me like a sister, asking about my feelings, my health, my dreams. She made sure I was always okay. I won't lie to you all. A part of me started to get used to it. After months of struggle and fear, this comfort was a sedative. The pregnancy made me exhausted, and having someone cater to my every need felt, well, it felt amazing. At the end of the first month, she handed me an envelope with my full salary. 1,200 cedis. I took it with trembling fingers. I had done nothing to earn it. Hey, my spirit, that little voice inside was ringing alarm bells constantly, but the comfort was a loud noise that drowned it out. I was comfortable. I was safe. I was paid. How could that be wrong? The one thing that never stopped feeling wrong was the touching, a hand on my stomach. It happened almost daily now. A slow, deliberate palm placed on my bump, feeling for the baby's kicks. It made my skin crawl, but I never stopped her. How do you tell your generous benefactor that a affection makes you want to shrink away? Then one afternoon, it happened again. We were sitting in the living room, and she reached over, her hand resting on me as usual. But this time, when I looked at her face, I saw tears welling in her eyes, actual silent tears tracing paths down her cheeks. I was shocked. Ma Dinah, are you okay? I asked, my voice soft with confusion. That is when she told me a story. And for a moment, everything started to make sense. For years, she began. My husband and I tried. We did everything. We traveled. We saw specialists. We spent so much money, but nothing, no child. Now, now the doctors say I am too old. It is too late. I look at you and I see the one thing I have always wanted. I have the money. I have a beautiful home. I have so much love to give a child, but my womb is empty and it hurts. It hurts every single day. Oh, I thought, this is it. This is why. She wasn't a monster. She was a deeply wounded, lonely woman. Her kindness wasn't a trap. It was a projection. She was caring for me because she wished someone was caring for her in the same way. She was loving my baby because she couldn't have her own. It made sense. It explained the excessive care, the focus on the pregnancy, the tears. I felt sorry for her. I thought I finally understood. But understanding her pain was one thing. I had no idea that a solution to that pain was about to become my worst nightmare. I'm so sorry, Ma Dinah, I said, meaning it. That must be very hard. She nodded, dapping at her eyes, but then her expression changed. The sadness transformed into something more bitter. She stared off into the distance. I just don't understand why God cannot give me a baby. Look at me. I have the money. I am a caring person. I could provide such a good life. But instead, He gives children to women who don't have what it takes. Women who can't provide, who can't care for them properly. The words hit me like a slap. I felt my face go hot. Was she talking about me? I was one of those women, poor, desperate, with a sick mother to care for. I stiffened, pulling back slightly. She noticed immediately. Her head snapped toward me. Oh, my dear, no. I was not talking about you. Not at all. You are strong. You are trying. I was talking about others. But the damage was done. She leaned forward, her voice becoming strangely intense. I haven't given up on my dream, to have a child. Then she laughed. Hey, if you want, I can take your baby. I'm serious. It would free you. You are young. You can start over. And I will take care of him or her. The baby would never lack anything. I could even give you money, a lot of money. She would be so happy with me. My blood ran cold. I was horrified. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Before I could form a word, she broke into loud laughter. I am just joking. Ah, see your face. You thought I was serious. She wiped a fake tear from her eyes, still laughing as she stood up. What a joke. You are so funny. She walked away, her laughter echoing down the hallway, leaving me sitting there, frozen in shock. My heart was pounding against my ribs. I felt sick. Why would she joke about something like that? A joke is meant to be funny. This was cruel. This was terrifying. It felt less like a joke and more like a test. A way to say the terrible thing out loud, to see how I would react. In that moment, any pity I felt for her evaporated, replaced by a cold hard certainty. I might be poor, I might be struggling, but I would never, ever part with my baby. The weeks after Ma Dinah's joke were things. The kindness was still there, but it had taken on a new, more controlling edge. I was 8 months pregnant, huge and uncomfortable, and she treated me like a fragile treasure. She was always around, constantly. The most terrifying suggestion came one night. She proposed we start sleeping in the same room. So I can be there in case you need help during the night, she said. Hey, I was starting to get genuinely scared. The house that felt like a palace was beginning to feel like a prison. Then, out of the blue, my phone rang. It was Ben. Hearing his voice after all those months of silence was a shock to my system. He was sorry. He said he had been foolish, that he was in Accra now, and he was ready to step up. He wanted to meet. He wanted to be in his child's life. My heart was a battlefield. Part of me was still hurt and angry. But another part, the lonely, scared part, wanted so badly to believe him. I still loved the man I thought he was. I was conflicted, so I did something I now regret. I told Ma Dinah. Her reaction was immediate. You must give him a chance, she insisted. A child needs a father. It is the right thing to do for the baby. Why don't you invite him here, to the house? It is a safe, neutral place. When Ben arrived, the meeting was strange. His eyes kept drifting away from me and towards Ma Dinah, like he knew her. I told myself I was overthinking. They didn't know each other. Why would they? He performed perfectly. He got on his knees, begged for my forgiveness, talked about building a future. Ma Dinah played a part, nodding along, adding, you should forgive him, my dear. Think of the child. Wrapped up in the emotion of it all, I did. I took him back. And for a while, things were great. He called me every day. He visited the house, bringing small gifts. The attention felt good. It felt normal. It made the strangeness of my living situation feel a little less heavy. Ma Dinah seemed happy for us, always giving us space, always encouraging our relationship. But then, slowly, things started to get strange again. The visits began to include more conversations with Ma Dinah. He would arrive and spend time talking to her in the living room before even coming to see me. He started asking questions about her husband, about her life. I just thought he was being curious. I was finally 9 months pregnant. Ben's visits, which had once been a comfort, now felt off. He was too familiar with the house, too comfortable with Ma Dinah. He came to visit me one afternoon, and we were sitting in my room when he brought her up. This Ma Dinah, he started, a stone casual. She seems nice, but no children, eh? I shook my head. Then, out of nowhere, he said it. You know, she's rich and childless. People like that, they will pay a lot for a child. Oh. He let the words hang in the air. I'm hardly making anything. Your salary is also not enough. Think about it. Maybe we should give the baby to her. We take the money. She will take better care of it. Our child will be Mama Ba. Hey, she might even let us see her. I was frozen. His words were like Ma Dinah's joke. It was the same proposition, just dressed in different language. This was no coincidence. Hell no, I said, my voice trembling with a rage I didn't know I possessed. My baby is not for sale, not for any amount of money. But he started trying to reason. I cut him off sharply. I want this baby, even if you don't. Fine now. He saw the fire in my eyes. He backed down immediately, nodding, muttering an apology. He tried to reach for me, to hug me, but I recoiled. Please leave, I said, my voice cold. He left without another word. My mind was racing. Something more was going on. That night, Ma Dinah left her phone on the center table in the living room while she went to the bathroom. I had seen her enter a password countless times. With my heart hammering against my ribs, I snatched the phone and unlocked it. I went straight to the dialer and typed in Ben's number. As the digits filled the screen, a name popped up automatically from her contacts. Ben. The breath left my lungs. How did she have his number saved? Then I opened a call log. My blood ran cold. There it was. Incoming and outgoing calls to Ben. Multiple calls. She had been talking to him even before he came back into my life. I put the phone down, my hands shaking. The discovery on Ma Dinah's phone felt like a bomb had gone off in my head. I couldn't just sit with it. I waited for her to come out of the bathroom. The phone clashed in my hand, my whole body trembling with fear and fury. I confronted her the moment she stepped back into the living room. I showed her the call log, my voice shaking. You lied to me. You have been talking to him even before he contacted me. How did you even get his number in the first place? Why? Her reaction was not what I expected. She didn't get angry or defensive. Instead, her face scrambled. She broke down into tears right there in front of me. I'm so sorry, she sobbed. I took his number from your phone when you were sleeping. I wanted to help you. I thought the baby needed a father. I contacted him to talk some sense into him. I did it because I care about you, about both of you. She was so convincing in her distress. The tears seemed real. And I was so vulnerable, so heavily pregnant and emotionally exhausted that a part of me wanted to believe her. The stress of it all might have triggered something because in the middle of this emotional chaos, my labor started. Everything that happened next was a blur of panic, rushing to the hospital she had registered me at, and the overwhelming, all-consuming pain of childbirth. But 7 hours later, all the fear, the suspicion, the confusion, it all vanished. They placed my daughter in my arms. She was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. Perfect. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Not Ben. I didn't care about their lives. My baby was here, and she was safe. The first few days after bringing my baby girl home from the hospital, I was exhausted and happy at the same time. But the joy quickly turned to dread. Ma Dinah was always in my room. She would come in without knocking, her eyes instantly searching for the baby. She would pick her up from my arms, often without asking, and coo at her, calling her my baby. My mother called constantly, begging me to come home. A newborn can travel, she insisted. Bring my granddaughter home. But when I mentioned it to Ma Dinah, she was totally against it. Absolutely not, she said, her voice sharp. The baby is too young for such a long journey. It is dangerous. You need to wait a few months until she's stronger. The worst was when I would reach for my daughter and Ma Dinah would actually turn her body away, refusing to hand her over. Hey, the anger that would flash through me, but she would just laugh it off. Ah, see how I love babies. I can't get enough of her. You should be happy I am giving you a break. And I was tired. So tired. I ignored the red flags because she was giving me a break. She was giving me money. She was helping me with everything. She watched the baby while I slept. She cooked for me. I told myself I was being ungrateful. Then I started getting sick. At first, I thought it was just the normal aftermath of giving birth. I was weak, my body ached, but it didn't get better. It got worse. I couldn't stand without feeling dizzy. A strange, intense pain began to burn through my body, like my blood was on fire. I wanted to go to the hospital, but Ma Dinah dismissed it. It is normal, she said, patting my hand. You lost a lot of blood. It will take time to recover. Just rest. She started bringing me special herbal drinks to help me regain my strength. They tasted bitter, and I often felt worse after drinking them. She completely took over all baby duties, feeding, changing, bathing. Then she moved the baby's cot into her own room. What? You need your rest to get better, she said. I will take care of her at night. I was too weak to protest. I was a prisoner in my bed, listening to my daughter's cries from another room, unable to go to her. The pain became unbearable. It felt like I was dying. Terrified, I called Ben. Please, I begged. I am scared. Something is wrong with me. Come and get the baby. I need to go to the hospital. There was a pause on the other end of the line, and then he laughed. Ma Dinah said you will say that. She said it is normal. You are worrying too much. You just need to rest. Stop being dramatic. Then he hung up. My spirit, that voice I had ignored for so long, screamed at me. It told me that if I didn't act fast, I would die in that bed. My daughter was a month old, and I was a ghost in that house. I was bedridden, trapped in a body that felt like it was betraying me. Ben had stopped taking my calls completely. My family was far away. They didn't even know where I was. Ma Dinah's entire world had shrunk to my baby. I was only allowed brief supervised glimpses at her. She said I might infect her. The medicine she gave me made the burning pain worse. A survival instinct kicked in. So one night, around 1 a.m., I gathered every ounce of strength I had left. The world swam around me. I wobbled to Ma Dinah's room, my heart pounding so loud, I was sure it would wake her. She was asleep. My baby girl was sleeping peacefully in the cot beside her. I moved like a shadow, lifting her out, holding her tight against my chest. She stayed, but didn't cry. I didn't take anything else. I left all my belongings behind. I only had my phone and my last 50 cedis, as I always sent my salary home to my mother. I was so scared she would wake up and catch me. I was so weak, but I pushed forward. The padlock on the main door wasn't fully locked. Another small miracle. I slid it open and stumbled into the night, praying to God for a taxi. I don't know how, but a bus actually appeared. I didn't ask where it was going. I just fell into a seat. It is only by the grace of God that I made it home safely. When my mother opened the door, she cried out. She cried at the sight of me, so weak, so thin, clutching a granddaughter. She held us both, sobbing. She told me what I had been thinking all this while, but didn't want to believe. She told me they wanted me to die. With me gone, Ben, as the father, would have signed my baby over to Ma Dinah. It was a clean, evil plan. A few hours later, my phone started blowing up. Calls from Ma Dinah. I blocked the number. Just a few days in my mother's house, eating her food, I started to feel better. The pain stopped. A week later, guess who showed up at our door? Ma Dinah. I had told her where I lived, and she had asked around. She was crying, begging for my forgiveness. She said she wanted me back, that we had built a beautiful relationship. She said she still wanted to be in our lives, that she would help with money. She claimed everything she did was for my good and the babies, that she truly believed I would get better at home. My mother was furious. She told her to leave, to take the diapers and clothes she brought with her. She called her a wicked woman. But I am conflicted. Babe, I can't lie. A part of me remembers the initial kindness, the comfortable bed, the food, and the money. Without a job, how will I care for my baby and my sick mother? She's offering a monthly allowance, no strings attached, she says. Ben has even called again, saying I should accept her help, that she only ever wanted to help. My mother is totally against it. She says they are trying to lure me back into the trap. My spirit is scared, but my practical mind is desperate. I need the money. I really need advice because she keeps calling and calling. Please help me. Babe, do not go back. Do not accept her money. Cut all contact with both Madina and Ben. Their help is the trap. Your health improved immediately you left her place because she was making you sick. Your mother is right. Babe, your safety and your baby's life is more important than money. I know you need the money, but babe, find another way. Trust the people who love you like your mom. Listen to your instincts, babe, and block her now. I'm wishing you all the best. Now, I want to know what you think down below. Should she accept her help? Should she take her money? What do you think is going on? Should she give her another chance? Leave your thoughts down below. And now, Abi, you know that this is a judgment-free zone. We listen, we don't judge. So please be kind to her in the comment section. And if you've not subscribed yet, babe, please subscribe. Come and join the family. Subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Okay, I'm done. Bye.